I'm Gwilym Jones. I'm one of the heads of business at Foods Connected here based in Europe, and I've been working for the company for 4 years now. So growing up as a kid, my dad was a pig farmer, and my grandfather and then uncle following him had a dairy herd and lots of arable land. So as a kid, I worked both on my dad's farm and grandfather and uncle's farms as well. So always had a sort of an interest for livestock and the food industry. Yeah, I joined Tesco about 15 years ago, originally as an accountant. But then my interest in the food side of things really sort of peaked and moved on to that food side by moving into the procurement team, and it just went from there. As I mentioned before, as a kid growing up, I grew up on a pig farm, so helped my dad out in terms of sort of mucking out the pigs and feeding the pigs, and then also with my grandfather and uncle's farm in the summer helped out on the potato harvest. But in terms of sort of working life, I joined Tesco about 15 years ago, initially as an accountant, but then moved into the procurement team and was lucky enough to buy a number of different areas for the whole of the UK. As a chocoholic, my first role was to buy the all year round chocolate range, which was really exciting time for me, but also moved on to buy biscuits, which included the Christmas range. But as a pig farmer's son, I wanted to move into the meat team. So later on moved into buying both beef and then lamb as well. So had really good experience across a broad range of categories. In those last two roles, I was using the Foods Connected platform. So that's what sort of got my interest in terms of then Foods Connected as a business. So going through school and then on into university, I had a bit of an interest in terms of sort of maths and economics. So that's what led me down the accountancy route. Joining Tesco, I started off in a group finance role, but then moved into supporting one of the buying areas. That's what really sort of grew my interest into actually being more involved on the food side rather than just counting the numbers. Actually being involved and making a difference in terms of the ranges that I was buying. So working with the technical team and the MPD team to make sure we've got the right quality of products, but also developing all of the great new products as well. So it was really that move to support the UK buying teams that sort of really grew my interest in actually more into the food industry and actually wanting to make a difference. Biggest learnings in the food industry, I think for me, it's a team game, not just sort of internally. So, as I mentioned previously at Tesco, you'd work alongside your technical manager and also your MPD manager. But actually working with your supply base as well. So obviously, if you worked in areas that were heavily branded, you'd need to work and create those relationships with your branded suppliers. But obviously for those own label areas as well, you need to work with your own label suppliers to support them. So from my perspective, the biggest learning is around sort of working as that partnership, and whoever that partnership is, whether that's internal or external, it's creating those relationships and maintaining them. That for me is the sort of biggest learning I've taken. So I joined Foods Connected at the start of 2020, and 2 months later, COVID hit. So it was a sort of a challenging time, sort of being new into the business. But my role has sort of grown really since when I joined. When I first started, I had 2 customers that I was looking after. Now there's probably over 20 customers that I have sort of within my team. So obviously when I started as well, I was working just with one person and working for me. I now have a team of 5. So it's really sort of Foods Connected's really given me the opportunity to sort of grow as a leader, and my job has grown with it as well, and the experience has been great so far. My history in the food industry has really helped me sort of with Foods Connected because it's quite varied. So obviously working in finance and then moving into procurement roles, but covering a number of different procurement roles in different food categories. So from that perspective, I had to understand different suppliers, different products, different manufacturing processes. So having to understand lots of different processes and different companies and industries really sort of has helped me for the role I do in Foods Connected, because obviously we deal with a varied array of customers, all who do different things. So it's really sort of helped me to sort of that sort of inquisitive mindset of trying to understand your customer first, rather than just sort of going in with this is how we can help. It's really listening and sort of understanding first. That's probably what's helped me the most. So in terms of 2024, we've got a lot of key projects that have either recently started at the back end of 2023 or have just kicked off this year. We've got a number of projects been involved with that are just about to sign. So really interested and excited in sort of learning more about those businesses and really sort of helping and support them to deliver the benefits of our system within their businesses. I'd probably say be open-minded. I don't think a lot of people say they know exactly what they want to do as a career, whereas I think a lot of people fall into it. And although obviously growing up on a farm, I never thought I would, the thought was there to be a farmer. And I've got two older brothers, and none of us actually wanted to do that. Sadly for my dad, but actually sort of it's worked out that it's ended back in the food industry, and that's almost through sort of not by design really. It's sort of fallen into those opportunities that have arisen. So for me, it's about keeping your horizons broad, chasing those opportunities, and going with what you like and what you feel like will be good for you as a career. And that led me into food, and that's the bit that I've enjoyed most. I enjoyed accountancy, however, I've enjoyed the food industry a lot more. So for me, it's about sort of keeping your options open and keeping open-minded.